cash crisis worse. Talking about Venezuela once again.
Systemic important banks. They removed the 1,000 they call monetary awareness.
All right. It is Monday morning, and we are checking in to touch on some interesting developments. And so it looks like a lot of tariff talk, rumors. We got Trump out here slamming the fake news. And as a response to all that, it looks like the Dixie, aka the trade weighted dollar, is moving, and it's taking somewhat of a dive. So we're going to touch on that as well as a couple other things. And so looking forward to connecting as always. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend and everything in between, and looking forward to, as always, to hearing from you guys. So I want to jump right into the news and give you some resources, give you some good news is what I'm going to focus on. And then we'll get into some of the noise surrounding all the monetary and fiscal stuff that is relevant to us, but it has its place. So I want to make sure I keep that where it belongs. Second, following the good news. But anyway, hope everyone's doing well. As always, for those who are tuning in, no matter where you're watching it, whether it's Rumble, YouTube, Odyssey, BitChute, whatever, drop a comment, share your thoughts, let me know what you're keeping your eyes on, as well as any other subject matter that might be relevant to the current monetary system, as well as society in general. Because there's always something worth touching on just to bring it to the forefront so people can stay awake and aware as to what's happening. So as always, it's going to be a good morning and looking forward to connecting. So before I do that, let me just get into some things here so I can make sure I stay up to speed with everything. So for those who might be new, you never know. That's what I want to make sure everyone is aware. So check in with us, subscribe, hit the bell, hit the check mark or whatever, so you always be plugged in whenever content does come out. Hopefully it's of value to it. And more importantly, if it is of value, you find anything worthwhile, feel free to share it so more people can find out an alternative perspective. And also for those who might want to be a blessing to the channel within the community or from the community, consider making a monetary contribution of any kind. If you scroll down to the very bottom, you'll see a donate button. Click that and feel free to join in on supporting alternative media. So no help is too small. So we're going to make this a good one, man. And let's jump right into it. So I'm going to just start off. We're going to start off with the good news. And so I'll put together these 60-second short, juicy, very scripted, detailed kingdom analysis that I think is relevant, designed to touch your core man, to get your spirit man fired up. And that's the goal in doing such. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to read it. And then if you find value, as always, I'll put it in the community tab. I'll put it in the Telegram. Take a screenshot, download it, whatever. Share it to your family and friends so they too can be uplifted and be encouraged in their spiritual journeys as well. So let's touch on this. January 6th, abide and be pruned is what it's called. And it says, Jesus said in John 15, 1-2, I am the true vine and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that does not bear fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes it so that it will be even more fruitful. And so he says, here's the truth. The kingdom of God thrives on fruitfulness, but notice something. It's not enough to just be connected to the vine. You have to bear fruit. It says God, the master gardener, examines every branch. The unfruitful ones, he removes them. But if you're producing fruit, get ready for pruning. Why? Because pruning isn't punishment. It's preparation for growth. It says, think about this. The pruning process may feel uncomfortable. God may cut away habits, relationships, and distractions, but he's doing it to make you stronger, more aligned with his kingdom, and ultimately more fruitful for his glory. It says, remember, the vine is your source. Stay connected to Yeshua and embrace the pruning and watch your life overflow with kingdom impact. And so the question is, are you ready to trust the gardener? All right. So that is something that really got me fired up when I put that together, just because, once again, at the end of the day, when you're taking your last breath, the last thing you're going to be concerned with is finances and anything else that we tend to talk about. And that's in the noise category. But making sure your spiritual house is in order is a priority of mine, more so in 2025. So you're going to hear more about it. So if this is not for you, feel free to unsubscribe. That's fine. No harm, no foul. But if this is for you, then I want you to join in on this by taking these little quick synopses of kingdom references and put it out there so more people can also reap the benefits that you are as well. And so that's a way of being fruitful. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into some resources real quick. So I'm trying to just get through everything I can so I can make it worth your while. I don't want to waste nobody's time here. But we're going to start off real quick with colonialsmetalsgroup.com. And so this is an alternative method for people to take physical possession of their retirements in a self-directed IRA. So as you see here, links in the description. You click this link, fill out this form here. You'll download this PDF, and it'll give you more details and help you answer a lot of questions that you may have about this particular program here. And if it's something for you, then feel free to go through the process, get your questions answered, and you will definitely not be disappointed at having alternatives outside of this 40 split that we're going to witness the unraveling of soon enough. So if you're interested, colonialsmetalsgroup.com/RTD or call 1-888-521-2448 and speak with the experts. All right. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Yes. All right. So I got to also continue to remind people the most affordable gold you can get in your hand, investable grade gold, costs fractions of what it will be worth as far as helping you protect and preserve everything you worked hard for. So if you're interested, go to buygoldnotes.com. Links in the description, and you can redeem some of those fiat notes and actually get something physical that's in your hand that you own that has intrinsic value that will not return to zero because it's 24 karat gold notes. So if you're interested, go to Buy Gold Notes and you won't be disappointed. And then next, I want to make sure I remind people I'm really outside a lot of things excite me, but one of the things that really excites me is the silver team. And so for those who may not be familiar, never know who might be new, got to always remind them. So if you're interested, the information that you need is in the description, but you can become a member of the silver team. The silver team basically is a community of individuals that want to be involved in silver as far as turning it their hobby and their investment strategy as well as a business all in one. You get to automate your weight per month sent to you directly. Like, I worry about the cost, it just comes. And you set up your own bullion store, which is what you see here. And then you can share this with family and friends so they too can become either customers or stackers or whatever. And you earn from your contribution to the community. And then you take those earnings, which is what I do, and then I just buy more silver. So I learn, share, earn, buy again. Learn, earn, share, buy again. So that's my particular strategy. But anyway, if you're interested, I encourage you. Click the link in the description, mysilverteam.com. And on the screen here, as you see here, you get a free 1 gram 𝗙𝗙𝗟𝗓𝗪 bar for just taking this information here. It's absolutely free. Just pay for shipping and handling. Links in the information, links in the description. Have at it, and you'll be more than happy at, getting your weight up. Okay, so with that out the way, let's get into the juicy stuff, man. So as of right now, the markets, man, I'm looking at the markets right now as a result of all this tariff talk and the rumors and, Trump calling the fake news, but the Dixie took a little bit of a dive. And it's interesting how the video I just did yesterday talking about silver and UBS's forecast on future projections and them seeing a weaker dollar. We know Trump needs a weaker dollar. And so it's just a matter of time before that 108 comes down closer to about maybe a dollar or so on the Dixie, 100 or so on the Dixie. But then again, that's not low enough because Trump would love to have it even lower. So it can make it appear as if our economy is booming. But we all know our currency is being destroyed. But anyway, this is interesting. So let's real quick about to jump through, look at the market activity so we can see what we see. And as of now, I looked, everything was in a green. I'm like, wow, that's always some good news because obviously dollar dumping, the dollars have to go somewhere. So people's buying something. And what are they buying? It looks like a little bit of everything, if I'm not mistaken. Let me get this on the screen here. Give me 1 second. I got to zoom in. Let me get myself out the way. I got too many screens open. All right, so just looking at precious metals real quick. We're going to thumb through it. We're going to make our way through this and then get to the nitty gritty. I'm trying to improve my speed because once again, everybody who's been around for any length of time on the community, I get carried away with my rants. And so the rants can take us way off course. But then again, within those rants are some nuggets. So anyway, let's jump into it, man. So what you can see right here, right over here, gold right now in the green, up $15 at $2,634.70. And think about this, 100 years ago, 1 ounce was about $20. And we've come a long way since then. And we haven't seen anything yet. And that's why I always say, to make America great again, they got to destroy the dollar. Therefore, if they're going to destroy the dollar, aka the Federal Reserve note, you're going to make sure that you're not holding government liabilities. So gold and silver, it's just it's an insurance policy against a failed monetary system. Everybody's included. If they're a public official that's elected by the people, they gonna fail. That's just how the system goes. So it just makes me that much more of it makes me that much more enthusiastic to give this information to people, just because it always ends the same way. Like, there's no reinventing the wheel at this point. We know how this is going to end. So between now and then, you got a lot of choices, and hopefully you're being very proactive with your approach towards everything in your life. Everything. And I'm talking to everything. Okay, here I go again, ranting. But gold, 2,635. Silver, $30. 30 silver. I looked just a moment ago. It was $29.79. So silver took a little 18-cent bid, it looks like. So $30 silver. You know, UBS, as I mentioned in a video I did yesterday, you know, said 36.38 by second quarter of 2025. And so literally, if things unravel or fall apart from the seams, we can see 35 within the next couple of weeks. But we can see 35 before the inauguration of Donald Trump. And I'm sure he don't want that. And I got an article as to what his surrounding advisors would prefer to have. And so stick around, you're gonna see that one. Okay, we got platinum 934, palladium 910, oil is up, copper is up, nickel is up, aluminum's up, zinc's up, lead is up, everything is up. And Trump would be like, don't you feel wealthier? Look at your 401ks. Okay, so we got to look at the crypto bubbles, because crypto is where the economic team would prefer things go over the hard stuff. So real quick, just look and see what we can see according to the top of the chart. I'll zoom in here real quick. Let me just zoom in here so you guys can see what I see, because whether you like it or not, this administration, the incoming administration, needs Bitcoin to succeed, or else there will be no great reset. So you can either shun it, you can speculate in, or you can dive in and get your whole body soaked in it, whatever you choose to do. But just remember, we're in a time of a wealth generational cycle that is a once in a lifetime opportunity for majority of us. So play your cards correctly, and it can set you and your family up for, a nice little couple days or so. But anyway, Bitcoin is at 102,000. Of course, you know who came out this morning and bought a bag. Michael Saylor's turning MicroStrategy into a meme coin, a meme stock. That's what it's coming. This dude talk about issuing. He's actually, now that he's a part of the NASDAQ or whatever, he's trying to expand the share base from, I think it was like 10 million shares or something stupid to like 1 billion shares. I mean, the numbers are stupid. But then again, this is the gamble of the century, and he's betting it all. And the thing is, it's all denominated in USD. And so I'm thinking, like, at the end of the day, what are you going to have? What are you going to walk away with? Because I'm more than confident that Bitcoin, the SHA-256 structured entity of, elliptic curve, every 10-minute blocks producing nodes, is not going to be something that will be, not something I would want to put my faith in. That's just me. I'll dip and dabble because, it's a great speculation, but the way they're going head over fist in this, and the way it's captivated the attention of the masses, is, to me, is part of the spookiness. But then again, as it goes up, I'll go along for the ride. But when it comes down, my entire life isn't based upon it going to the moon. That's just me. Anyway, so we got 102. Okay, that's interesting. Whatever. And of course, as I said before, it's going to 1 million. Just be patient. Trump gonna make sure it's gonna hit 1 million. Trump will make sure it hits 1 million. He gonna do it for his kids. Eric Trump and his Barron. Barron is his baby boy. Tell you, Barron, his daddy gonna take care of him. What father? What? Name one father out there that don't do their kids right if they have everything at their disposal. Think about, I can get carried away, but think about how good my Heavenly Father's been to me. Makes me want to dance, but I'm not going to do that right now. Anyway, Ethereum, 3,700. XRPs, $2,050, almost 40 cents. And it goes on. Dogecoin, that's Elon Musk's baby project. Watch, Elon Musk got plans for it. Okay, so anyway, I can't bore you with that. Okay, another thing, let's just look at the S&P 500. Look at these boys. Look at the Magnificent Seven. Magnificent Seven is doing its thing today. Let me zoom in here. So everything, all these big blocks. Look at these big blocks. 2%, 5% NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to the moon and back. Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Tesla's up. I mean, look at Elon getting richer. Look at that. Every time this thing goes up, he gains extra 10, 15 billion. You got to love this economy. And let's not forget the bond market. The bond market is going up. Uncle Sam's debt burden is going to become that much more burdensome. 10-year treasury yields 4.6 on its way to 5. Think about that. They're cutting while rates is going up. So literally, the higher the rates go to these rates at 4.60 for the 10-year treasury, that is a lot of pressure on our government, because that is evidence that lenders aren't satisfied with the amount of interest they're earning for the risk they're taking. So they need more. And so that means they're literally, what are they doing? They're dumping. Okay. But that is what it is. Okay, so let's get into the news. Okay, so as always, for those who might be new, you never know, if you go to rtd.news, links in the description, I make sure to put all the worthwhile news of the day on here so that you'll stay plugged in. So use this as a resource, bookmark it so you'll always be plugged in. I'm going to make sure to do this at least every day. Even if I don't do videos, I'm going to update this. So you always have a resource to get your information. So let's jump into it. I'll try to put them in order as best I can. But okay, so here, very first one, let's jump into it. Click on this. Let's see what we get. Here we get a link back to X. And I thought this was interesting because this was from Bart chart. And let me zoom in here so you can see what I see. But it says here, US dollar index, Dixie, on track for the biggest loss since August 2nd, 2024. You might say that's nothing. But in an environment where, just naturally all fiat currencies is failing, it was a no-brainer for investors as well as other nations to be forced buying into the dollar, therefore strengthening the Dixie, send it up to 108, 109 or whatever it was at this particular snapshot. But then again, now, as a result of all these tariff talk and the rumors that are circulating that Trump debunked supposedly, but anyway they go, if you look at the tariff narrative, it's more burdensome for nations to do business with us. So you are kind of forced to make some tough decisions, as I always say. And so once again, like, if my entire world was centered around something that I couldn't control, I would do my best to try to find alternatives. And that's in every aspect of my life. And so I imagine if your entire nation is being not necessarily hijacked, but overly influenced by a foreign nation's monetary practices while they're running deficits, spending a credit card at willy-nilly, and they're counterfeiting with the interest rates being lower, incentivizing more currency expansion. I'm like, well, man, even though my country do the same thing, but I got to maintain my financial practices while they get to just spend forever. No, I'm going to do something about that. So people going to make some tough choices. And so that's why I mentioned from that UBS article yesterday, US UBS forecasters see in the future much lower rates, therefore the dollar Dixie coming down. And it's just a trade weighted balance of, top currencies. But anyway, so as it says here, you see this little blip right here. So this blip was enough to catch people's attention because it just, once again, it's a result or is related to the tariff talk. And so, mind you, if tariffs is a big issue, which it will be, and if this, as the rumors said, that they're universal, meaning every country that does business with the U.S. will be forced to pay something, that's even more of a reason to really dump dollars. But anyway, so last time apparently was back in August, there was a sell-off. So clearly, at this point, back in August, obviously there was some rumors or speculation or some activity that resulted in people choosing to get out of the dollar. Okay. But once again, the dollar's not going anywhere. It's legal tender. It's the reserve currency for now. It's going to be spendable until it's not. So that's just interesting. Okay, so I was like, okay, so what exactly is some of the rumors? So I was like, let me just ask the internet, because the internet nowadays does a good job of grabbing information and putting it together. And of course, it's biased and it's slanted towards the establishment type figures, but we can take it and decode it and get some truth out of it if we look at it with a little bit of salt and skepticism. Okay, so I said, why is the Dixie down today? It said, and this is from Perplexity, it says, the Dixie US dollar is down today due to several factors. The Dix index is trading with a negative bias for the second consecutive day, retreating from its highest level since November 2022. It says there's a narrowing yield differential between the US bonds and the global bonds, making the dollar less attractive. And so it says the yield on the Bloomberg US Interest Aggregated Bond Index has fallen compared to the Bloomberg Aggregate Bond Index, excluding the USD, reaching its narrowest levels in 2 years. So once again, I would want to make sure that these are up to date, because some of these figures here may not be what they should be. But once again, this is just some speculative information to chew on. Expectations of the Fed rate cuts are contributing to the dollar's decline. Markets are pricing in more aggressive rate cuts than what some analysts predict, with 72 basis points of cuts priced in by the end of the year. And so this is from UBS. So this plays into what I mentioned once again. UBS foresee more cuts. So clearly they're the banker of the bankers. So they get top level information beforehand, and they are able to trade on that information well in advance to position themselves to make money, while everybody else is just left holding bags. It says recent weak industrial data from China and Japan has failed to boost the dollar's safe haven appeal, suggesting other factors are currently more influential in forex markets. It says the dollar's moves appear out of sync with the prior relationships, with some analysts suggesting that the Dixie should be trading closer to 105 rather than the current level of 108. So a lot of forex trading in the background, people trying to do all types of things, position themselves to profit off of this. So that is what it is. But as of right now, we're looking at on the screen here. This is the last one day. So from 109, as it peaked at 109 yesterday at 7:44, and markets open up today in the Western Hemisphere, and it's already taken down. And then we have this little bit of this at about 6 a.m. At 6 a.m., there was a major move from 108 down to a bottom of 107. So that was from at 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So the question is, what happened? We're going to talk about that. So this real quick, let me just get back to where I got to be. Get back to where I got to go. Everything is mentioned on the RTD news. Okay, so the next one. Washington Post tariff story, false. Another fake news case. And so this is directly from DJT, Donald Joseph. I don't know if that's his real name or not. Trump, but it says here. This is his tweet or his post at 9:15. So this is after that little dip, after that dip. So he's responding to that dip based upon comments made about his tariff policy. It says a story in Washington Post quoting so-called anonymous sources, which doesn't exist, incorrectly states that my tariff policy will be pared back. It says that is wrong. The Washington Post knows it's wrong. It's just another example of fake news. Okay, so what exactly came out this morning, which caused a little bit of a spook? Let's jump into that. It says here, this third article, Trump aid ready universal tariffs plan with one key change. So just the idea, I guess, of a universal tariff plan could spook a lot of nations to have to make some tough decisions, as I just mentioned. But let's just thumb through this real quick here. It says President-elect Donald Trump aides are exploring tariffs plan. His aides. So once again, his aides. So is this him? Would this be him giving his team permission to work on some plans and then go study, research it, bring it back to me, and we'll talk about it? Or is this literally just pure BS where Washington Post is like, let's just cause some market volatility right now because he's not president yet, and we have to do as much as we can to make it appear as if like, this is all a good guy, bad guy type of thing. Anyway, whatever. Who knows? But they're exploring tariff plans that would be applied to every country, but only cover critical imports. Three people more familiar with the matter said a key shift from his plans during the 2024 presidential campaign. So just that first sentence alone says a lot. There's tariff plans that would make it more universal, that not just the nations that go against the dollar or try to dump the dollar, i.e. the BRICS, would be hit the hardest. It's now saying, according to the Washington Post insiders, that it's going to be universal. So every nation that does trade with the U.S. will be experiencing some type of increase in a extra tax on top of their transactions with us. It says if implemented, the emerging plans would pare back the most sweeping elements of Trump's campaign plan, but still would be likely to upend global trade and carry major consequences for the U.S. economy and consumers. It says here, as a candidate, Trump called for a universal tariffs of as high as 10% or 20% of everything imported into the United States. Many economists warn that such plans could cause price shocks, and many Republicans in Congress might have criticized them. Okay, so once again, we got this story that came out earlier. Then Trump responded with that's fake news. So where are we at? we're somewhere in the middle because tariffs will still remain. That's a part of his strategy to help make America great again. And in doing such, one of the selling points that has got a lot of the MAGA crowds excited is he's going to trim back on the taxes. So they're, talking about doing away with the income tax and probably going to a flat tax, which in and of itself sounds good because that appears to be more spending power in your pocket. But once again, the weapon of choice, people like, just this is where, I kind of find it hard to really articulate, my thoughts in a way where I can give a fresh perspective where it's like, it has a light bulb moment where people are like, oh, like that's what it is. Because I'm like, I'm not, I'm not the smartest guy on the string by far. I can admit that. People who are watching, I know I got people way smarter than me. So I ain't up here wanting to say I'm that guy. I don't got to be. I just need just a little bit. I just need just a little bit to move a little differently and I'll be fine. But my point is, like, the weapon of choice still remains the same. Like, all the talk is about making America great again, but the greatest threat is this instrument right here. This instrument is coming down the home stretch. We only got maybe 2% worth of purchasing power. Therefore, between now and next year or two, based upon all these promises, he'll never be able to add any more appreciation to this unit here because it's all debt-based. So we're going to be in need of a new system and a new structure. And that's what people are not really focusing on because he knows, this guy here, he knows he will be the last president of this structure. Then we'll get into the rebranded format of a solely centrally controlled collaborative effort between the Treasury and the Fed, more than likely, because the Federal Reserve, believe me. And when you have people say that, he's going to do away with the Fed. Come on now. It's just some things that people are so desperate for natural hope that they'll be able to hang on to things that just are not built on solid foundation. You think that the powers that be have come so far to enslave humanity with this here that they're going to give up control and from this guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is a part of the boys club. Every billionaire has to take an oath to apply and comply with the structure to profit off of it or else. And if you get out of hand, you speak out of turn, you get out of pocket, as they call it, you lose everything or you lose enough to, it'll bring you down. It'll humble you. And I think the best example of a person that was humbled happened to be Mr. Kanye West. Everybody know his tirades he went on. And then 3 or 4 years after the fact, you look at what he said, you're like, well, dang, that was kind of truthful. But that truth is not meant to be made public for the world to know. You keep that amongst yourself and you get your billions. You start talking truth now, we gotta have a sit down or we'll cancel you. Anyway, that's just me, another rant there. But anyway, my point is, whatever he's doing, this is the weapon of choice. So until he starts talking about what he's going to do with that instrument, the Federal Reserve note, and how it's going to appreciate in value to help us out, and the only way that can happen is if we enter into a deflationary spiral where all debt-based contracts, including retirements, including pensions, including everything that's been overly inflated because of all this counterfeit currency, then he can't really tell me nothing that I care to hear about. But then again, I'll watch from a spectator because it is entertaining. It's going to be painful. It's going to be uncomfortable, but this is the way things have to go. I know that. So if you know that ahead of time, and that's why I'm really into this, charging up people's spirit, man, because you're going to need your faith in the days ahead, regardless of who's in office, no matter what promises are made. You're going to need to have your spiritual house built up, because if you don't, those are the ones that usually tend to fall the hardest, because you built everything on a house of sand, built on sand, as a good book says. But anyway, that's just a little rant there. Forgive me, but hopefully there was something there that you could use. Okay. But it's not over. It's not over, because while we got the tariff rumors and Trump saying it's fake news, and it probably won't be a universal tax tariff, but whatever. One of the leading things I know Trump will do, though, is his economic advisors. They're all, swamp approved. because it's all this whole thing has to be swamptastic. I'm telling you, like I'm making up words on a fly here because they fit. So hashtag swamptastic. Make sure you tag your boy. But this is all going to be one great Trump pump. As I'm commented, somebody's question is like, what are your thoughts? I'm like, well, he don't want this to come down on his watch, so he has to juice the market. So get ready for the Trump pump because that's a part of the MAGA wealth effect. So what does that look like? He needs. Let me go back here. Let me get back here. Okay, so I'm not going to read the Washington Post article. He called it fake news. Whether it is or not, who cares? But like I mentioned before, until he start talking about purchasing power in my pocket with the unit that we all work for, save in, and invest with, he can't tell me nothing. Anyway, it says here, this is the next article. Donald Trump's China nightmare could have already come true. So this is the Forbes, a major publication by billionaire. I think it's Michael Forbes, when I'm mistaken. So the Forbes is a financial network that does, it gets a lot of attention. And when you have these type of major publications coming out talking about, China nightmare threat, what could they be talking about? Well, let's just look into it. Donald Trump's China nightmare could have already come true. What are we talking about here? It's funny. Donald Trump. Let me close this. Bear with me. All right. And so what do you think it's about? It's about Bitcoin. There's no way around it. They need it. Donald Trump, the U.S. president-elect, has embraced Bitcoin and crypto over the last year, fueling huge bets on the cryptocurrency, and that some fear are delusional. Bitcoin topped 100,000 per Bitcoin aftermath of November election, whatever. Now, as a billionaire Trump advisor, Elon Musk continues to play havoc with crypto markets. Fear have emerged that China could have beaten Donald Trump and the U.S. to creating a Bitcoin reserve. So you see how the narrative has to be, it's centered around a Bitcoin reserve. Bitcoin is a part of your future, whether you want to admit it or not. Whether you participate or not is irrelevant because it's still going to be built. And therefore, Donald Trump will be out here talking about making Bitcoin millionaires. He's going to talk about taking Bitcoin to the moon. And so here's just a little something. I think China is already acquiring Bitcoin. A hedge fund manager and former Trump communications director, 𝗙𝗘𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗟, said on the Bankless podcast. So 𝗙𝗘𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗟 was employed by Donald Trump for 11 days and he got fired. But he's a billionaire. He has large bags. He admitted that I think maybe half of his wealth is in cryptocurrency. So these type of stories here play right into his pockets because it'll get people talking, such as what I'm doing now. But I know that he's just the front man. He's just a spokesman for the people behind him because he knows he's friends with the economic team of Trump. So he gets information first as to which cryptos Trump is going to use and which ones they want to pump and da-da-da-da-da. So it's easy for them now to go on these campaign trails and speaking about the benefits of Bitcoin reserves because they're going to use that as a tool to juice the markets, to make this MAGA wealth effect really something that's believable, because that's the only way America can even pretend to be great, is to provide people that illusionary wealth effect where everybody feels as if they're benefiting, while all along the billionaires or the asset owners of real tangible wealth, either in assets, whether you own an island or two, real estate, to a certain extent, metals, minerals, land, anything that is tangible and from the earth that God gave us, those billionaires be buying it on the cheap with the new gains that they'll be accruing while Trump focuses on asset price appreciation. And they're going to take the gains, buy land, buy gold, buy silver, buy buildings, buy skyscrapers, buy planes, buy Lamborghinis, buy Benzes, buy all that stuff. And they're going to buy businesses. And they're going to buy stocks in depressed companies. So it's just like, just to see the wealth effect continue. It's like, wow, it's just genius. Like, it's just how the system goes. But this is a part of the MAGA wealth effect. And so the goal is to use this thing in the middle talk about this thing and stay away from that thing over there. That shiny stuff over there. The longest people stay on this side, the MAGA illusion can continue. But the moment people go that way, it's going to be hard to pull off a reset if everybody was in something physical and tangible. And if more people spoke about the importance of being in it, being forced to go in a digital direction, but remaining on sound ground in a tangible world. But anyway, that's just me. Okay, so I'm about half hour through, and I don't want to bore anybody. But if you guys have enjoyed this, definitely leave a comment, share your thoughts. Show me where I'm wrong. I'm always down to be proven wrong. That's fine. That's how I learn. I'll read the comments. I'll reply back when I can, and go from there. But as always, there's more stories, more news, more articles. I'm sure that will be of interest to you guys. And so that's how and why I put together the RTD News. So if you want to, go on over there right now, rtd.news, or click the link in the description. And there's maybe 20 other decent articles that are things that I'm sure you might be interested in. So once again, just trying to encourage people to use this as a resource. So if you find it value in it, take the actual RTD rethinkingitoutlloud.news// and share it on your social so people can realize an alternative perspective. It gives everything in a concise manner right in front of them. So anyway, be blessed, be safe, people. Love, live, learn, man, and pray. And just enjoy life. Smile. Be a blessing to the body. Take the devotion, share it. Sow some seeds, scatter some seed, and be fruitful. Shalom.